by lack of time for, say, things like education when you are actually trying to make your family work. So many children drop out of school because they have to work for the family to run. So similarly, we believe that even the solutions have to be interconnected. This is the reason why we try to work across the spectrum on all sectors. At AID Boston, what we do, or across AID for that matter, is we partner with our grassroots NGOs. So we work very closely with them. Our volunteers do site visits, so they actually go to where the projects are being done. But we don't just go there and try to see how the project is going. We get more deeply involved. We try to understand the NGO, what the local problems are, how we can help in other ways. Sometimes we also connect one NGO from one geographic location to another NGO so that there's a transfer of knowledge. So that actually solves a lot of problems too. Within AID, we are quite a democratic organization. The decisions are all made by the volunteers. So which projects are to be funded, how we work with NGOs, what, to some extent, even the philosophy of AID is quite directed by the volunteers.
One persistent issue that we have been facing, which should come as no surprise when we are working with people who are poor and marginalized and facing exploitation and struggling against poverty on a daily basis, is hunger, which when we talk about it in a chronic and persistent way, we often, instead of using the word hunger, which is something that even the privileged classes do experience on a daily basis, but also address on a daily basis. When we talk about this among the poor and marginalized people, instead of using the word hunger, we tend to use other terms like malnutrition. And somehow it becomes less of an urgent priority when we talk about it that way. But hunger itself does not figure in the discussion about health priorities, and why. And we can, I won't go into details, but we can think about the relationship of hunger to some of these conditions. Not only hunger, but also, the flip side of the coin, overeating or over-nutrition. If we look at undernutrition, overnutrition, different food habits in a holistic way, we can talk about the kind of food habits that are increasing global hunger, that are destroying people's access to food or to what. Even in remote villages, Cerelac is doing a brisk business, and apart from the nutritional value of Cerelac or lack thereof, for people who can't afford it, they're also mixing it in a very dilute way. So it's a far inferior product than what is otherwise available, whether it's local grains or what little local vegetables or fruits would have been available, would be more nutritious than this thing that's coming out. But we also want to break the monopoly that the packaged food industry has taken a hold over the concept of nutritious food itself. The trend towards nutritionism, as Michael Pollan calls it, he documents this, he documents the rise of nutritionism in the United States over the past 30, 40 years. And we can see that trend happen, we can see that trend coming into India, by the book, by the letter, valuing the packaged food, valuing the nutrient over the food. And only the packaged food can come with a printed list of its nutrients. A banana or a bunch of leafy green vegetable doesn't come with that kind of label. If it does, then it probably came from a long distance and may have other problems associated with it. Here we're working in a community where the dominant food habit is to eat local food, is to eat fresh, home-prepared food. But what is happening to people who have these food habits already? Why are some of these things being taken out of the hands of the poor and becoming kind of an elitist, food trend, locavore?
India comes to you. So India comes to you in many ways in the US, right? It comes to you in the form form of Indian movies, when you suddenly realize that in Bombay the Bollywood film is going to be released on the same day as it's going to be released in Washington DC or in Boston. It comes to you in the Indian restaurants, it comes to you in the friendships that you make. But one thing that India also comes to you here is in the way of a feeling of the country we have left behind, the people of India, and a connection with the grassroots of India. So in every one of our minds, there is that part of India that also comes to us. But just like you actually don't only talk about masala dosas in DC or in Boston, but you can go to an Indian restaurant and actually eat masala dosa, or you can see an Amitabh movie. What can you actually do to relate to the Indian villages or the poor or the underprivileged sections of India that also are in your mind? Each one of us here represents are both a part of the problem as well as carry a part of the solution with us. Right? We both represent the problems and solutions as individuals, right, in this society, in the world. And it is our coming together and joining up that creates kind of, like I began to view aid as a jigsaw puzzle. Connected to a village from here, if the only thing that we want to do is one topic, then what a waste of energy. Because in the village so many things are going on. And for example, so if you have gone all the way to actually identify and get involved in villages in India, and you can use that involvement to do so many things parallelly, right, together. Why restrict to one focus like education or health or something? So we kind of be pretty clear that that integrated approach is not only something intellectually we need to do because the problems are complex, but also it is the more powerful approach because you can just parallelly do several things. So what we found in our journey was that you have to distinguish between the symptoms and the causes. Just like if somebody gets a temperature, is not well and gets a temperature, the temperature is a symptom. You don't treat for the temperature. You don't keep taking paracetamol. So you start an investigation as to what's actually wrong and find out what the causative problems of the disease are and you treat the disease. Similarly, poverty is a symptom. When you start looking at underlying causes of poverty, then you actually need an arsenal to fight the causes which are extremely local and complex. And therefore you need a wide-ranging thing. Like you cannot be only focused in one area and expect it to solve. Like you need to be able to tackle corruption, you need to be able to have technological input, you need to be able to work on policy issues and so on. And it has been, has kind of gained experience in doing a lot of these things. And you need a program like this. So to understand these kind of connections, it's important to kind of look at all aspects of development. And it's a fairly interesting journey when you do that. And I encourage all of you all to get involved in the work that AID does in Boston, as well as in general when you're visiting India, visit our villages and come and spend some time. And it's an eye-opening experience, and it will enrich your lives as well as the lives of the people in the villages, for whom there are very few friends